Okay, welcome back everyone. Welcome to a new trading week. This is Jeff here with FXMindshift and welcome to your Sunday weekly review. So apologies for last week, with the Mother's Day holiday and, stuff going on, I wasn't able to do a Sunday review for you guys. So I apologize for that, but this week we are back. And as you can see from the calendar here, pretty slow start to the week it seems like it would be. We have nothing here Monday and Tuesday, pretty bare on the calendar here. So but it does start to pick up here. Wednesday, we've got a GBP folder for CPI at 2 a.m. Thursday looks like where the bulk of the volatility is going to be. The PMI news, right? So flash manufacturing, flash services, all through the London session here for Euro and GBP, 315 to 430. New York session, we've got our usual USD folder unemployment claims at 8:30 a.m. But then we also have our PMI news for USD at 9:45, okay, and then Friday rounding it out with a GBP folder for retail sales at 2 a.m. So most of the volatility coming in at the end of the week. Look out for Thursday. Probably want to pay more attention to that. But let's take a look at the charts. We're going to go into the DXY chart and do our monthly top-down analysis as we always do. So here we are, DXY monthly chart, and as you can see here, the last basically move that we had on the monthly, this big down move here, taking out this swing low and trading into this monthly imbalance here and giving us this current rejection, reaction, retracement back up, right? And this is where we currently are in the month. So this monthly candle, obviously we still have about a week and a half left in the month of May. So, it still could change, of course. But if we do end up closing the month bullish like this, then this would be a valid swing low. And we could see if price wanted to continue to retrace further, maybe back up into some imbalances that we've created along the way here, or if it wants to reject from here and go down maybe after, a small retracement. So we'll see if that will happen either way. But like I said, the end of the month still is about a week and a half away. So there's still some things could happen in that time. And this, it looks like a bullish candle now, but it could end up being a bearish candle by the end of the month, right? We've seen some crazier moves. So let's take a look at the weekly chart and go down and see if we get some more clarity here on a lower time frame. All right, so you might notice some different colors on my chart here, so I just don't want you to be alarmed. But I've cleaned up my chart a little bit, and I'm just trying to focus more on the most recent ranges in price action. So the red dots here will represent, our most recent range, or the range that we're currently in. And then the orange dots will represent the ranges that we've broken through or in the process of breaking through. Like here, you can see that the low here was broken through here, but we haven't really created the new range. So this is just a fresh break. And a fresh swing low that's being made here. So you can see that there is an imbalance that we've traded to, right, and also reacted to. Now we did go high, pretty high up, at the start of the, or towards the last week rather, and we did close with kind of like a bearish. Well, we closed with a pin bar. It ended up being a bullish candle, but there's a very long wick, is my point, right? So this could very well be a rejection of this imbalance, and we could go lower from here, right? And we could see price go, lower from here to take out this low and continue the downtrend. However, if this does continue to hold and say, we do close back above the imbalance here, then the next point of interest I'll be interested in seeing price go to is this right here, which is a overlap of a very small imbalance here and also an order block here as well, right? So I can see the line there across inside of this imbalance here. So I'd like to see price, if it goes higher, meaning if we get a closure back above the imbalance here, then I'll likely be targeting price to come up to this point of interest here. If this rejection holds, and so you can see like the next candle of next week, we close back below this with a bearish candle, then I would likely see the rejection happen from here. And then we should see price go lower and back down. Whoops, what did I just do? Go lower from here, right, and then continue. So this will be the rejection, and then we'll see price go lower. So those are the two scenarios on the weekly. Let's drop down to the daily and see if we get a little bit more insights. All right, so now on the daily, as you can see here, so our most previous range broken through here, right, and so we're sitting currently inside of this daily range right now. high to low, right? We trace back into the premium here. We can see that we have a order block that we were trading and reacting to. We got a nice reaction here. However, still not fully convinced on this reaction yet until we can get back below probably this structure here, right? Because we've got an imbalance here and we've got this, basically this swing low here. So if we were to, fully become bearish, right? And this reaction here to fully confirm, I would like to see price actually get through this swing low and not fully, just a break below here would be enough. Really just below this last bullish candle here. So if we get below that, I think that we will see price continue down and go lower, right? And so at the moment, kind of between 2 points of interest here because we've got an imbalance just below here, but we are seeing price react from the order block and the imbalance up here. So we'll need to see if we do retrace further down, what happens to price right in this area right here. If it does go up, then we will likely see that run up to that point of interest over here, like I said. But if we do see price continue down from here and break this level, then I would likely see price continue down from that level. All right, so that is a daily. And lastly, let's drop down to the 4-hour and let's see if we get some further insights on that range there. So on the 4-hour range, you can see here a very nice rejection of that imbalance and the swing low. So we mitigated the swing low here, traded into the imbalance, and then you can see that we had a nice reaction. Bullish imbalance here created inverted, right, and basically closed through. And then we got this nice little consolidation happening. Liquidity sweep off the previous consolidated range here, and then you can see a nice little candle pattern formation forming here. 3-bar evening star pattern that potentially could form. Now, if this is going to reject here and go lower, then we need to get below this consolidation, right? We need to go through the consolidation here and then go lower. And then this is the area that, like I said, on the daily that I would like to see for it to follow through. So we'll see an early sign of this happening if we get price to trade below here on the 4-hour. Okay, so price will basically trade through the consolidation here. We'll get a closure below, and then from there we should see price continue down to the next level, that daily level, and then continue the downtrend, right? If we hold this level here, then it's possible that this is the continuation, right? The higher low continuation that we're currently seeing right now. Okay, and we'll see price go higher. But this is going to be a crucial consolidation level here for us to get through if we're going to continue bullish or bearish. So I'll be keeping my eye on this little range right here at the start of the week. All right, and we'll see what happens once we get through that. So that is for DXY. Let's take a look at Euro dollar next. Okay, so Euro on the monthly, as you can see here, the last break of structure over here. And this is the most recent break here. So basically, we still have, this is potentially our swing low here, but we still have to make a swing high to form the next range. But this is the process right now, the last break of structure. And we also swept this high over here, right, with a rejection. So we're currently rejecting and retracing back into the range. Same thing as the dollar, just basically flipped. Okay, the month is bearish right now. And, if we were to close the month bearish here, there's a good chance that we'll just see, further retracement into the imbalances that we formed, right? Or basically back inside of this big bearish range. Okay, and I would like to see a deeper retracement for it to go higher, if it were to go higher. So it would make sense for it to, start to retrace back into the range right now. But if we do continue from here, and just from this point here, I can see reasons for this to go from here as well. So we can see that we have price trading back into the top of the structure here, right, into an imbalance that we've formed, or the process of forming here. And if we do get a strong rejection back up and it starts to go higher, would not be surprised at all. And, I wouldn't expect that it needs to retrace very deep because of how strong this move was. Maybe it just becomes a shallow retracement. Right, so let's take a look at the weekly and let's see if there's anything that will help us determine that on the weekly. We can see the weekly range here, high and low. Okay, the last range that we broke above here. So again, this is a current break. Okay, so we're going to see if this is going to be where it creates the swing high and retraces, right, to give us our next structure. But the points of interest down below here that we can trade into, right now we're already trading through this weekly imbalance here. So you can see that we haven't fully closed through it yet. So there's still a little bit of hope that this holds. Okay, and just like the dollar, if it holds and it comes back up here, then this is where it will turn around and continue higher. However, if we do see price go through the last week's low or this week's low here, then it's likely that we're going to go to the next point of interest, which is going to be this order block here, right? Or even possibly the imbalance below that, taking out this low of structure here. Okay, so for me right now, it's still bearish, right? Because we do see that price did close below last week's low, and we did end up with a bearish candle, albeit it was a doji candle. So there is some indecision there, but it certainly looks like more of a retracement for a continuation down for the moment, right? Because we are up in this range pretty high. So I would like to see a deeper retracement. Even if we do go higher, I'd want to see it come down a little bit further first. Right, so let's go down to the daily chart. Right, and on the daily, right, you can see here that we've got a closure of the imbalance here, right? Whereas on the weekly, we still had a little bit of space left, but on the daily, we can see that we've got a full closure of the imbalance here, right? And from this reaction that we saw going into the end of the week here, we saw price reject the imbalance, the order block here, and give us a pin, right? And then you can see price winding lower. So if we do get through this level here, then I would expect price to continue lower and potentially run for, the structure over here. So we could see it run to the discount and the deeper discount of this bigger swing low consolidation, or we could even see price run for liquidity below this swing low itself, right? And there's lots of imbalances here that we could trade into as well. So I would like to see if price were to close below this previous bullish candle here. This level looks like 1.108, right? So that level right there is going to be where I would expect, price to continue bearish if we were to break below. If we continue to hold here, then, we'll see price get back above the OB, and then we should see price go higher. So in order for price to go higher, I would need to see price get above this level here that we're currently rejecting from. Right, and so that is basically your over-under, right? So price will be bullish if we continue up from here, right? Or it'll be bearish if we break below here. And that's just based off of the current candles in structure right now on the daily. Let's go down to the 4-hour, and let's see if there's even more insight here. Okay, so I've got an interesting note here for the low, because we do have divergence here with GU, right? Now, EU made a lower low here into an imbalance, okay? And DXY made a higher low, or so not higher low, higher high, I'm sorry, higher high into this imbalance, right? So DXY and EU are correlating correctly, or they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. EU is making a lower low, DXY is making a higher high. But when we get to GBP, we'll see in a second, right? There is a higher low over here for GU. So there's a possibility that this is going to be, a stop hunt and price will move higher. But, at the moment right now, I would be leaning more towards price being bearish, right? And seeing this close through would confirm that further. And then the run to this low here would be the next target, right? So ideally, if price were to be bearish from here, we would close the rest of this imbalance right here. Okay, basically run this wick with a closure, candle closure, not a sweep. Okay, I don't want to see price do this. I don't want to see price come down to this level here, sweep it, and come back up. That would not be bearish. If we are going to be bearish, we'll see price go through this level here. So we'll close the bullish imbalance fully, and then we'll see a closure, and then we'll see a retest of that level lower to run this liquidity here, right? The swing low here. So that'll be the bearish scenario. If we're bullish, then the divergence will hold right here, and then we'll see that this imbalance that we've created here will get run through, and then we'll see price go up from there after that happens. Okay, those are the two likely scenarios. It may not happen exactly like that, okay, but that's basically what you need to look for if you want to see price turn around and be bullish, right? But in the current scenario here, price should reject the imbalance and continue lower, close below the bullish imbalance here, and then continue down for this low here. Okay, and that's probably what I'll look for to do unless something drastic changes with structure in the order flow. Right, but that's EU. Let's go over to GU. Okay, and GU on the monthly, as you can see, we did attempt to go lower here, right? We swept out the internal low. We traded back to the order block and the imbalance here. We held both of those, and now we're all the way back up to this high, basically, all right? And we did sort of sweep the high here a little bit, and that's where you can see this little monthly rejection, right? And so you can see the monthly candle this month has really not moved much at all. And we'll see if we want to continue higher from here. If this candle closes as is, just like it is right now, then we'll have left we will leave a monthly imbalance, a bullish imbalance below, right? And then we'll see if the month of June, we start the next month here, wants to trade down into that and then push higher. Okay, getting a little ahead of myself there in terms of what it'll do because these are monthly candles, but let's go down to a weekly and see if there's a little bit more recent price action we can deduce. All right, so on the weekly chart, okay, you can see the previous structure broken here, right? Our most recent structure, this high to this low, has recently just saw price reject that after taking out the high with just a little wick, right? So a little sweep of liquidity there, a nice big rejection, right? We can see lots of wick rejections here and price starting to break down. The thing is right now is we're trading back into this weekly imbalance, which is, why we're getting a wick on the upside as well. Okay, so there's a lot of indecision right now. We ended the week with a big fat doji, right? A wick on either side here, but we did trade into this weekly imbalance, this bullish imbalance, and we got a nice reaction to the upside. Okay, so there is a possibility that price will go up from here, from this rejection. Let's take a look at the daily. All right, so now in the daily, you can see our most recent range here. We did retrace back into an imbalance over here. We swept the low from the wick. And then this gave us a nice big bullish reaction and sort of a consolidation right now. But this reaction right here is what is important. Okay, so this is currently holding bullish order flow, right? Meaning that if price were to continue to be bullish, then we should see price get above this, this structure here, right? The bearish candle here is the last bearish candle down. And if we were to see price get above that, then I think that we will see price continue to go higher. However, for price to remain bullish, to remain bearish rather, the order block that we're trading into right now, which is what we're seeing all these rejections, basically keying off of, okay, in this up candle right here, then we will see price continue to go lower and trade through this recent rejection, okay, this bullish rejection. So let's look at the 4-hour here. All right, now the 4-hour, okay, is what I want you to pay attention to. Because of this divergence here, there is a possibility that price will want to go higher from here, right? So we want to kind of watch and see what price does. If the divergence here, this reaction, is going to have any kind of strength here, right, then we should see price get back above this structure, right? We did trade into a key area on euro, right, which is this imbalance. Okay, so there is a correlation there that should work out. If the price does start to shoot up from here, then that divergence should hold, okay, and we should not see price come back to that level before it takes out some liquidity above. So likely going to be this one right here, right, is the next closest target, right? So if we do continue lower, right, then we should see price trade below this structure, okay, and divergence is not guaranteed, right, as a reversal. It's just an early sign of of what may be. But we still need confirmations to confirm that, right? And so for me, this divergence would be confirmed if we were able to get back above this structure here. Okay, there are no imbalances. Actually, there is an imbalance right here, this very, very tiny one. So let me mark that here, right? So if we were to be bullish, the first thing that I would see price do is invert this imbalance, close through it, okay? Because if we close through that, then there's a very good chance that we'll close above the structure here as well, since we're so close to it. Right, and if there's some momentum that we do it with, we leave behind bullish imbalances as we do it, then that's pretty much a clear signal to buy back up, right? And so that's the instance where the divergence will hold, right? If the divergence doesn't hold, then we'll see price make a lower low here, right? And we'll see price close below this low here, and then we'll see it continue to run down for this next point of interest here, or possibly even the lows. Okay, so we'll see how that kind of plays out. And this is the start of the week, right? So if something happens throughout the middle of the week, obviously there can be some changes, right? But that's how I see it for right now, based on the current structure and the order flow. Okay, so that is GU. Let's go over to gold. All right. Now, gold on the monthly time frame, okay, as you can see, is very bullish, right? The last range that we broke through was over here, and we haven't really even made any kind of significant pullback since then, right? We have, I guess, this one right here, and currently this month is, the biggest pullback we've seen so far in a long time. So right now, if we do close with a bearish candle this month, we can see that it'll be an inside candle, right? And that is typically the start of a reversal if we do get a reversal, right? But that trade below the last the previous month is what's going to confirm that for the most part. Okay, this right now is still hovering above that, so it's still got some time. Obviously, we've got a week and a half left for the month. But if we do close bearish, then that is a pretty good indication that the swing high is set, and we'll see a deeper retracement. How far can we retrace? That is the question, right? We could trace back into the previous OB here, and there's also an imbalance sitting here as well, and that's pretty far away from where we are. So if we do get that kind of big pullback, if it happens, all right, let's go over to the weekly. Okay, so on the weekly, we can see that the reversal is showing signs. Okay, so we see a nice big bearish engulfing candle as we closed out the week last week. But we're, like I said, trading back into an imbalance here, an order block here that could potentially give us a bounce back up. You can see the wick rejection here, which, to me, it's a rejection, sure, but it wasn't very strong. So we'll have to see if price wants to get back above this candle, right? And I would really need to see price get back above the weekly high if we were going to be bullish again. Otherwise, I'm going to be expecting price to basically come back up into this bullish candle here, and this bullish candle will act as an order block for price to go lower from. Okay, on this rejection here. And we'll see if that happens. And then this will be the target, right? Targeting that swing low, or even this swing low first, obviously, right? But then eventually targeting this swing low back further down the range. Okay, now this is a very bullish market right now. So I'm only speculating here because I'm seeing signs of reversal. You can see over here, this was also a very good sign of reversal, and it never happened, right? So it's possible that price continues to push higher, and that's why I'm saying that you need to see if price wants to go higher, it will continue to respect the bearish candles here, and we'll keep going down and making new bearish candles, until we see price, basically come back the other way. That was apparent right over here when we got this big engulfing candle that engulfed the previous week's candle, which was bearish. Okay, so if we see something like that now, then we would be for sure back bullish. But for right now, I would say that the retracement is happening, and we should see price continue lower from here. So if we go to the daily chart, okay, we can see a nice big daily M structure, right? And reversal, second leg here that respected the first leg, and the wick of this leg, it looks like a big stop hunt to me. But yeah, now we can see that price has made this M structure, and we're now retracing back into a bullish POI here that should give us a run higher if we are going to be bullish, right? And so this area right now is going to be a critical area to see if we do run back above. Okay, and right now we can see that we just have, we've got a swing low here, but we're still basically respecting the order flow, meaning that we're still seeing price going lower here, making new lower lows and lower highs. So we'll see if the imbalance here continues to hold. We've got a little bit of space left here to completely fill the imbalance. And so, maybe we'll get a move down to fill the imbalance, sweep this low here like an internal sweep, and then price to move up after that, right? Otherwise, I would expect price to just continue to roll down and take out structural lows as it goes. Okay, and lastly, let's go to the 4-hour chart here. Okay, and you can see from the 4-hour chart, we've got a nice break of structure with an imbalance that formed. Okay, price came up into that imbalance, into that consolidation structure, and we held, right? It looked like for a moment, it looked like it was going to run through and break above, but it held the structure, and then we saw price turn around and push lower. This is going to be a key area because obviously on the run up here, we created these imbalances, and now we've traded back into them, and we're getting a nice bullish reaction from that. So it's possible that price is reacting to that. It's also possible it's reacting to the order block here as well because they're just overlapping. Okay, and right here we could see price continue to be bullish, and and go higher. If it's going to do that, it will come back up and take out this consolidation, right? This is the consolidation we reacted from, right? It gave us a bearish move. If it doesn't go down from here, then that's going to be a failure, and we're going to see price come back up and through it, and we should use that as launch pad to go higher if we do in fact break the structure to the upside. Okay, so we'll look for that to happen, or we'll look for signs of that to happen. But if price on this retracement here doesn't get back up over this high, then you could probably expect another M structure here and then a move lower through this low. Okay, and that is gold. So that is the Forex side. Let's try it over to the future side here. We're going over to NQ price action. All right, NQ this week was pretty solid, a little bit up and down, but overall a good week. On the monthly chart, as you can see here, we had a monthly imbalance, a bearish imbalance here, but this candle so far this month has just gone right through it. So normally we'd expect price to kind of stop here with at least some kind of reaction or rejection, but as you can see here, we just plowed right through that imbalance and still going here. You can see a very strong bullish candle. And we should end the week with a bullish candle, or the end of the month rather. This is a monthly candle, right? So, but like I said, there's still about a week and a half left. So you'll see if we get maybe a retracement. This monthly order block here would be a good area to watch for retracement. Okay, this would be a monthly OB. And right now, currently, this is where, I would expect price to give us a reaction if we do get a reaction. All right, and let's drop down to a weekly chart here just to see here. This monthly OB overlaps with a weekly imbalance right here, as you can see. Okay, and that is where we're currently trading up into. Now, we didn't get much of a rejection here, right? So it still could go a little bit further. I feel like we could either go to the midpoint or even fill it completely. Right, so we'll see if we get that momentum to carry through into the next week and fill this imbalance. But right now, as you can see from the end of the week there, I would expect next week to continue to be bullish. All right, let's go to the daily chart. And let's take a quick look here. So on the daily, also very bullish here, right? Ending the 4 or 5 days of this week here with all bullish candles. However, tapering off at the end there, right? So Thursday and Friday, of course, we have these little tiny doji candles. So it's possible that we see a little retracement, right? It's also possible that we can, just kind of continue up from here. So we'll have to see how it plays out. We already see an imbalance here that's being traded into that is being reacted to, but not very strong. Okay, so we want to see if this will hold going forward into next week. If not, then we could see a deeper retracement first. Be back to mitigate the swing high over here, or trading back into the lower imbalance, the order blocks below. Okay, so let's go to the 4 hour here, and you can see on the 4 hour that our most recent range was broken through over here, right? And then we are currently in the process of creating a swing high, although not really confirmed yet because we're still going higher. But the 4 hour points of interest here, we can see that we are getting reactions from. So this imbalance fill and the order block at the top give us a little bit of a pullback and a little bit of consolidation, but nothing really too clear in terms of direction. We've got a point of interest below that's holding and one above that's holding, and we're inside of a consolidation right now. So you gotta wait for our price to break out either way, and then we have a good handle on the week, because obviously we want to see manipulation at the start of the week. So if we go higher, we want to see a manipulation lower first before we do that, and that would be in the form of price coming down, maybe sweeping these lows into this imbalance and then going higher. Or if this is a reversal, then we want to see price basically confirm that with a big shift lower and trade through some of these bullish POIs. So this imbalance here, right? And we want to see new imbalances formed, bearish imbalances formed as we do that, right? And that should give us a pretty good clue that price is reversing and that we should look for, price to continue short. But as it is right now, still looks very bullish on all of the higher time frames, and I would still be looking for the direction to go higher at the start of the week. So any move that we see lower at the start of the week, will be suspicious of it being manipulation, and then we'll see if we get confirmations of it going back to the other side, right? And then we can kind of take it from there. Okay, that is NQ, and last but not least, we have ES. Okay, same kind of structure here on the monthly with ES. We had a bearish imbalance that has been traded through, not as strongly as NQ, right? Because NQ, you can see we've even gone above these candles up here. But if ES follows suit and continues to roll higher here, then I would say that the swing high and all-time highs again is the target, and we'll see if that actually does come to pass, right? So on the weekly chart, okay, you can see that we are also trading into that imbalance / OB zone, right, that we saw in NQ, just slightly lower here on ES. As I said, ES at the moment is the weaker pair, right? And so for bullishness, if you're trading bullish setups, you want to be looking probably more of your focus towards NQ this week, right? Although ES still does look pretty bullish. I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm just saying out of the two, the likelihood of setups playing out more is going to be NQ based on just the relative strength. All right, so on ES right now, you can see that we have a full-bodied weekly candle that we closed. Okay, so also very strong bullish momentum going into the week. I would expect price to continue higher, right, to that weekly order block level, and eventually even taking out, like I said, the equal highs up here and making new all-time highs, right? And that is going to be the objective here. So we'll see if we get a some kind of manipulation lower first, right, and then run higher, or if we see a complete turnaround, also get confirmations of that as well and go bearish, right? So let's drop to the daily. Okay, daily range, you can see the last range here broken, the upside over here, right? And so currently we don't have a swing high, a confirmed swing high just yet, and that's what we'll be waiting for price to give us. And then from that swing high, we'll see if we want to continue higher to this daily point of interest over here. So essentially, you can see smallish sort of candles towards the end of the week, right? A good push up at the beginning of the week, and then kind of tapering off here at the end. And, it's possible to get some kind of retracement before we go higher. There's an imbalance just below us right here, okay? And we've already traded into an imbalance right here, right? And that's where we're currently getting this move up from. So if we go lower here and trade back below this imbalance, the one below it here, and the order blocks down here would be probably a good target to see if we will continue to make higher lows and keep going higher, right? Let's drop back to the 4-hour. Okay, and you can see 4-hour structure, break of structure over here, big imbalance that we've formed on the break of structure. Okay, so I want to see if price will retrace back into this 4-hour imbalance to go higher, but it certainly doesn't need to. You can see right here that price is slowly pushing higher here. Okay, so if we can just remain above the imbalance and the BMS of the structure, then I think that we will see price continue this week to continue run higher and higher and higher, right, into this the weekly levels up here in the equal highs. Okay, that is ultimately going to be the draw on liquidity if we're bullish. Okay, those equal highs up there. If we get some sort of retracement or turnaround, okay, then we're certainly going to need to see price drop through this structure here. Okay, so we'll need to see price go through this swing low. Okay, and then if we do that, then we will get a retest and a continuation down, and that'll show us a little reversal. All right, so we'll see which scenario plays out, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so that's going to do it for the overview this week, guys. Hope you guys found some value in that. Hope you guys found that helpful. Now, of course, like I said, these, every week, these are weekly analysis, right? At the start of the week, obviously, this is how I'm seeing the markets, but throughout the week, things can change, right? We've got red news folders throughout the week, and, obviously just normal price action can change things. So if you guys are interested in trading with me every single day, I trade live with my students every day, Monday through Friday now, and you guys can jump in on that and, basically take trades with me. So you'll see the thought process behind the trades that I take, you'll see the calls that I make, and hopefully you guys can catch in the same setups that we do when we take our trades. And right now, if you are interested in doing that, there is a link in the description below that you can sign up 7 days for free and take a look, right, for yourself. If you guys find value in it, you guys find that it is helpful, then obviously you'll stick around. But if you don't, and you feel like, you can do better on your own, then no harm, no foul. You can cancel anytime within that 7-day trial and be on your way. But hopefully, pick up some value and some free tips and things to help you with your trading along the way, right? So the link is in the description for that to sign up. And that is pretty much going to do it. That's the Sunday review. If you guys have any questions at all, you can feel free to message me. I will do my best to answer them for you. And I'll leave them in the comments just below this video here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to make sure that you guys get notifications for all the videos that I put out.
Feel me.